Hey geeks, welcome to another edition of Geek Culture Unboxing. I am Lou and Elliot has joined us from Seattle. Diego is on camera duty, Scorsese back at it again. And this time we have for you the 1/3 scale Jason Voorhees from Cinemaket. Now we kind of made a mention of it when we did the Starscream review. We said that, you know, Diego would get a chance to see ECC in person. This is what we were alluding to. This big, beautiful piece by Elite Creatures Collectibles and in partnership with Cinemaket. It is huge. You can see the box itself is 43 inches tall. Elliot is a little over 6 feet.
Yep.
I'm 5'9", and this thing on the pedestal dwarfs me. So it's a really big piece. We're gonna try to get in detail on this piece as best we can. It's got a glass bottom base. It's got a dock, which I'm assuming is made out of resin. It's got a Jason figure, which from my understanding is about 28 inches tall, should be about 1/3 scale. Then it's actually got, you can see on the packaging, it's got a lamppost that hangs over him and illuminates. Hopefully there's no crazy batteries. I think it's a AC adapter, and we can get this thing plugged in. We'll even shut off all the lights in the studio so you can see how it glows. We're contemplating whether or not we're gonna put it on the 360 table and give you a 360 review. We'll see. If not, we'll just try to do in-depth as we're recording. Any thoughts on the boxes?
Yeah, we'll see if it fits on the table. It might literally scrape the ceiling in here. Like, this thing is huge. I feel like I could probably like really squish up and fit in this box, and I'm not a small guy.
So here's a question for you.
Ridiculous.
Aside from like the life-size figures that you've seen of Star Wars, Vader, R2-D2, Boba Fett, is this the next biggest collectible that you've ever seen?
Yeah, I mean, aside from like the 1-to-1 scale stuff you see,
yeah,
like
the
1-to-1
yeah.
scale busts and that sort of thing, this is the biggest like full figure I think I've ever seen of any character. So I'm excited to see this thing put together. Like, it's going to be crazy.
It comes with an instruction manual. Some of the highlights is that Jason has actual rubber skin, like realistic rubber skin. Cool. The mask comes on and off, so you can display it with the head or with the mask. I like it on with the mask. For me, Jason was always my favorite horror character of everybody. You know, it's Jason, then it would be Pinhead, and then
Freddy, Michael Myers.
No, the third for me is Critters. So I like Jason, Pinhead, and then Critters. And so when they announced this, I had to get it. There's actually a life-size Critters out there. I just haven't picked it up yet. Yeah.
Those would be cool.
It's custom though. It's not not professional made.
Gotcha.
ECC, professionally made Critter. I buy it. I buy it. All right, so we're about to start unpacking this. Stick with us. It'll be a fun ride. All right, so now we're gonna start with the base for Jason, which is an inch thick of clear resin to give it that lake feel to it. It's got his nameplate on the back, a very nice touch. As you see when we come in, you've got young Jason at the bottom of the lake, or just under the water from the very first movie. The base is the heaviest part of this piece.
Yeah, you're going to need a friend to help you take this thing out of the box. Like,
a couple of friends.
We're two big guys, and like we were sweating and struggling. Like, this thing is heavy, and you don't want to drop it.
I'm actually glad you said sweating, because if they're wondering, like, man, these guys are sweating. Dude,
yeah,
we've
like,
got AC on in here, and we're still sweating unloading this thing.
Is heavy. And like, you're trying to be careful, but also move like these kind of awkwardly big pieces. But this is cool. Like, it looks really good. It's really good, like, simulation of water, I feel like. How Jason looks there under the water is really neat.
And the great thing is having that marquee packaging in the back. Dude, that's so awesome.
I kind of wish the nameplate was some way where, because like, you're going to probably have this thing against a wall, and now you have to choose whether you have the nameplate, and the nameplate has what I assume is the button to control the lights, or like the water and Jason. So, you know, I feel like it's kind of, you're choosing one or the other. It's like the nameplate and everything is kind of cool, but this side, I guess, is really more the showpiece. So you would put that against the wall. It'd be nice if you could move that somehow, or Like
well,
some
you know,
magnets or something.
depending on the collector, you know, if this is like a centerpiece, he could have it in the, they could have it in the entranceway on a pedestal, and so
yeah, you could have it on like a turning thing too, so you could see it from all angles. I think it's got a power cord, so that might make it a little difficult, but you
the
can
AC adapter
probably do that.
Yeah. And, you know, we didn't even check. Let's check before we put everything else on. Does it have it on the bottom?
It's got a, yeah.
What number?
39 of 513.
So the next piece that we're going to add to it comes the dock. So the dock comes on, and it has an AC adapter. We'll get to that once we open up Jason's part. The styrofoam insert has two parts. So the bottom part has the base and the dock. The second part's going to have the light post, the Jason figure, and his accessories. We have now added the dock to the glass base, and the dock has two metal connectors that connect to the glass base that allow for illumination down here. We'll go ahead and turn that on for you so you can see. But again, later on, once we have everything set up, we'll turn the lights off and you can really see it bring out the statue. We'll have Diego come in through the front and show you the glass with the light on.
It's cool how easy that was too. You just kind of drop the base on there, and it's got some little connecting like electric pads to transfer the power from the base.
And you know, even though it's not a snug fit for that, which is preferred, you know, it's really cool that they give the effect of the water cascading away from the poles of the dock. And then Diego, even though he's on camera, noted that he really liked the dock, that it really looked like real wood, but it's actually resin. I would be, no, it'd be kind of impressive if they use real wood.
It'd be really good if it did use real wood, but that'd be really difficult, I think, to get it consistent. And it might also be weaker, and I think it'd just be really hard from a manufacturing standpoint. And this is probably stronger.
Last longer?
Yeah, I think so.
Could have wood rot, fungus.
Yeah. And I just think from like a manufacturing standpoint, getting like this piece repeatable with real wood, like it would bring the price up that much more.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is if they had made it from real wood, each piece would be unique because...
True, but I don't know.
We'll enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, I feel like they did a great job. Like, it looks really nice.
And if you guys can see, yeah, we're sweating in here. It's hot down here in Texas.
Really warm.
And we got fans going and everything. It's hot down here in Texas. So here's the booklet that we were telling you about earlier, the instruction manual. Hadn't cracked it open yet. You know, it tells you the scene, cinemaquette, the making of Jason Voorhees. Gives you like 3D renderings of the plan. You know, that looks, look at that. The color on that looks really good. Look at that second image. The color of the water, and that's a really great concept. Picture, I guess, from the movie. And it's got some really great color shots of the piece. Look, manufacturing, that's cool. Look at that.
It almost looks like it maybe did use actual wood on that or something.
Or a clear, look at that glass. That glass is definitely clearer than that. But which one would you prefer?
There's nothing in the bottom, so that might be...
The reflection of the brown?
It's white inside that one, so that's probably why this looks darker. It's because the light reflects differently.
And the eyes are real glass. You can see in that picture that
That's crazy.
that they're out. So in Jason and the young Jason, it's real glass eyes for that realism. But you know, Cinemaquette and ECC are known for that. They're known for going all out when it comes to quality. But I mean, just look at Jason by himself. That's going to be so awesome once we get him up.
Yeah, I was going to say spoilers. We got to get them together first.
So what? 5 pieces total? 6, if you don't count. 1, the base, the dock, the light, Jason himself, and 2 accessories. So 4 pieces and 2 accessories. What is that? A washer and butterfly nut. All right, we haven't come across that yet.
They'll like hold him on so he doesn't tip or something like that.
Maybe, yeah. Look.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's for the lamppost.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's so tall. You don't want it falling over. The one thing we did notice when we're setting this up, the AC cord is real short. So you're going to need an extension cord or something because it's maybe 3 or 4 feet long.
Well, we can measure.
Yeah.
Here, let's turn it off. And so attached to the base, it extends just 33 inches. You know,
short.
Yeah, very short.
If you had this up on a table or something, you'd need an extension cord.
Yeah, well, it kind of messes with your display because you've got to plan it,
yeah,
you know,
near something, near an outlet, or just get an extension cord and it solves your problem. But
so the base itself is 21 inches long and 19 inches wide. The dock is a 1.25 inch long and 13 3/4 wide, not including the posts. With the dock on and the post, it stands about 9 inches tall. But again, this is going to be close to 42 inches tall once we get the light posts on there, and just a big piece. But just giving you guys some small measurements on this. So now we're going to go ahead and add Jason and the light posts. That's going to take a little adjusting because we have to use the nut and the washer. So what you geeks don't see on camera is the delicacy and the time it takes for us to actually set all of this up. This isn't a quick, here, let's just put it in. Yeah, you got to take a little time and you got to be delicate. You've got a screw in here that you've got to screw the base in. You've got to make sure that you're not pinching the wire. Then you've got to, you know, the way they ship it, it's not a big deal, but you've got to turn the light so that it's actually hanging over him. The light flickers. That is an intentional design. ECC talked about it. They worked diligently to get that repetitive motion where it flickers. Again, we're going to turn all the lights off towards the end of the review, and you geeks can actually see him in all his glory. We'll put his mask on because that's the best way to just display Jason. But we'll have Diego come in so you can get a closer look on his face. Again, the glass eyes are real. You know, they went out of their way to give you actually glass eyes. The other cool thing that you may notice is that there's actual sweat stains put in the design of the shirt.
Yeah, it's really cool. It gives it a layer of realism that, like, I feel like a lot of figures don't get clothes right. It's really hard to get clothes right, and these look really great. They look like lived in, and that he's been wearing them for a
you know,
while.
they're dirty. They're very
dirty boots.
Dirty and bloody.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the light post? Again, it's got a very realistic wood look to it.
Yeah, it looks really good. And again, it took two of us, like one person holding the light post, and the other person kind of like screwing it down, making sure it was on there. So you need more than one set of hands for this thing.
And then this is real metal.
Yep.
Real metal. You got the light there, and even the blade is metal. We'll get to that in just a second. I want to give you the measurements. So from boot to head, Jason is just 26 inches, just about 26 inches. To the first part of the light is 29, and on the dock all the way to the top, that is 37 and a half. So from the table, so from your pedestal all the way to the top of the light, just about 46 inches. This thing is a beast.
Yeah.
I would say this is the biggest collectible in my collection. And you know, I don't have a problem with that. Again, Jason is my favorite horror character. The only other Jason that I had considered, before I got this guy, I actually had the Sideshow maquette, and it was a stylized version of Jason, and it was actually signed by the creator, Victor, trying to think of his last name, but he signed it. It was cool, and I didn't want to get rid of it. But when this guy came out, I was like, okay, and so I got rid of it. This one, my all-time favorite Jason was CJ Graham in Part 6, Jason Lives. And I keep going back and forth. Do I want to get CJ to sign it? Do I want to get the remaining Jasons? You know, Kane Hodder, CJ Graham, all the ones that are left with us. If I want to get it signed, still up in the air. Something to consider. But let's go ahead and talk about the real metal machete. So, you know, we always love it when they do premiums, and ECC and CinemaKit are all about premiums. Real metal machete, what we have discovered is the design flaw. The tang is a quarter of an inch. And that does not sit very snugly in there. It's actually nerve-wracking that it will fall and actually chip your resin base. So you got to be very careful. We're going to email ECC and let them know, hey, that's too short of a tang. There's not much they can do about it. Yeah. This is already produced. It's done.
Part of his hand, like the handle of the blade, like it's not like you can just take that out and put a new one in there or something.
Yeah. And
or
again,
just pop his hand off or something. Like it's all one piece.
And even if they sent you one with a longer blade, the handle's probably not designed to have a longer tang in there. So it's a concern, because, you know, when you spend $3,000 on a piece, collectors expect it to be flawless, from exterior packaging, styrofoam insert, the figure itself, the lights better work, everything better be flawless at that price. Now, CinemaKit and ECC, normally their 1/3 scale is about $2,000. Why Jason was a lot more, I don't know. If he was $2,500, that would have been about right. You know, considering that you get real metal, you get 2 lights, you've got an inch thick resin, but at $3 grand, that was really pushing collectors. And think about it. I'm on those forums, and the collectors, you know, granted, not everybody can afford a $3,000 piece, right? But when you hear the people that can and do, and they're like, hey, this thing better look amazing for that price, you know. So that's what producers have to keep in mind when they're making these things. If you're going to charge that price, it better be immaculate, better be easy to set up, better be easy to store away. You don't have a concern that that metal blade is going to fall while you're at work and you come home and you got a chip in your base. You're like, what happened? So,
and to be fair, it does look absolutely incredible, but that is kind of a bummer, because we talked about it. It's like the machete is an integral, important part of Jason, and for that to be the one place that doesn't feel secure, well thought out and secure. And like we talked about it, you could like maybe glue it in there or something, but then you have a problem moving it around, and it's like, do you really want to be gluing a $3,000 piece? You shouldn't have to be doing that. So that's kind of a bummer. But he does look pretty amazing, I gotta say.
Sadistic and serial.
And like the skin looks really good, like real skin. There's little pores and stuff I can see in there. Like it's cool. And it's big. If I had to guess why it costs more, like this base is like another figure unto itself. There's a lot of material there. The mask is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So this would, you know, I was telling you where I was going to put it in my collection. This would go in that corner where, you know, I'm replacing Akuma with, but it's...
Would it?
Well, not on that pedestal.
Right.
I've got to find something about this height, or maybe 6 inches higher, and then it'll work. And, you know, I was actually looking at it the other day because we were at Lowe's, and we were getting some I think it was it maple or oak? We were getting some oak, and I had some leftover material, and I was like, I can make my new pedestal out of that.
Yeah, you're going to need a pretty hefty thing to put this on. It is heavy.
Heavy. And, you know, Jason, what would you say Jason weighed? Probably 20 pounds?
Just by himself, like, I don't even think that much. Like, all of the weight is in the base.
Oh, yeah, no.
Dock. Like, he's probably less than you'd think, like maybe 10,
maybe
15.
Okay. He had some heft to him.
He feels good and heavy, but then when you like lift the base, it's like, oh wow, so that's why this box was like struggle bus to get out of the packaging and get out of the box and move it around.
You know, we actually missed that, so let's talk about that now. So what it came in is it came in the ECC CinemaKit brown box, then it had an interior white box, and then it had the
all of the packaging.
you know, the packaging, and then the styrofoam insert. So it had plenty of protection. It had on the packaging, it has plastic corners, and they're really sturdy corners to protect that. So I mean, it was very well packed, almost flawless. You know, just the design flaw, and I mean, there's nothing else that we really saw that we could be like.
Everything else looks fantastic, especially when it's all together, and you stand back a little bit. Like it's amazing, and like with that flickering light and everything, like they did a great job laying this out.
Yeah, the flickering light was, you know, the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just the light that shines on, but it actually flickers. So as we said, in a minute, we'll get ready. We'll turn off all the lights, and then we'll get just some video. You know, maybe, I don't know, 5 seconds or something of just Jason standing there.
Cool.
But we hope you geeks can enjoy it from afar as much as we're enjoying it here in person. I don't know that we'll ever display this out in person. I would love to, but you know, for what it is, it's like, I think it's just gonna stay home.
A lot of work to move this thing around and set up and take down. So here's the question. Since this is your piece and your favorite Jason, with that design flaw, do you still recommend people buy it if they're as big of a Jason fan as you are?
Yeah, well, hopefully they see this video, or hopefully other collectors comment about the short tang.
Yeah.
It's not a bad piece. As far as pricing goes, price is subjective.
Yeah.
At the retail price, it was too expensive. Honestly, it's a $2,500 piece. Of course, after it's been produced and it's sold out, then the price is going to go up. And then with that design flaw, some people may have, you know, minty mint, and some may have, you know, other issues, and so that's going to dictate secondary market value.
Cool.
But for $2,500, yeah, I would have picked this up. Again, I'm watching those collectors online, and they're talking about it, and these guys can afford it. You know, they've got other Cinemaket pieces, and they're just like, man, it's hard to stomach, you know, $3K.
The extra premium.
Yeah, the extra premium. $2K, yeah, sure, they'll pay it, but $3K, it's tough. It really is. And a lot of other statue companies are trying to go that route. They're trying to climb up there, and it's just like, they're nowhere near as premium. The only other, I mean, think about it. PCS was doing premium format where they had real clothes. Sideshow does premium format. I'm trying to think of anybody else, Diego. Those are basically it, right? General Giant doesn't do premium format. Imaginarium. And XM doesn't. XM does sculpted. Huh?
Kotobukiya has some of their,
but they don't do
figures,
premium
it's
stuff.
It's not the same size and yeah, quality and everything.
So of the 3, and it's actually 4 because there's Cinemaket and there's ECC. So Cinemaket, ECC, PCS, and Sideshow. I have Sideshow pieces that have material closing, premium format, and I like ECC's better. And the sweat is what really set it up.
No, I think the clothes on this are the best clothes I've seen on any like statue figure period, because they look like real clothes. If it wasn't, you know, 2 feet tall, you'd look at that and almost go like, okay, that's a real shirt. It's not a shirt for a figure that's not human size. And that's, like I said, that's something I know, like, they've tried really hard to get right, and it's difficult because when you shrink things down, things like fold and how it falls and everything isn't the same. But on this, it's incredible. I mean, even like the stitching down the pant legs and everything is like spot on.
The seam and at the bottom,
the cuff on the bottom and everything, like the little buttons on this shirt, just it's really impressive.
Diego, anything you want to add? All right, so let's get
time.
Huh?
Lights out time.
Lights out time.